Islamabad's support to terror groups in bringing unrest in Jammu and Kashmir is an open secret, which led to the country getting slammed at the UNESCO General Conference this week. Pakistan was called out at the conference for having DNA of terrorism. Meanwhile, a latest assessment report by Indian central agencies revealing cross-border infiltration data at LOC also exposes Pakistan's malicious agenda against India.
Pakistan has been relentlessly inseminating false propaganda against Kashmir at international platforms since the abrogation of Article 370 from the Indian Constitution that gave temporary special status to the region. Pakistan's baseless propaganda has become a subject of irony because the country itself is the biggest source of chaos for the region. Countless infiltration attempts at the line of control and regular conspiracies for carrying out terror attacks in Kashmir is a planned strategy that Pakistan-based terror groups are using to target innocent Kashmiri citizens. These groups receive funds from Islamabad, leading to terror financing becoming a major threat in South Asia.
Terrorism financing, well, terrorism in itself is growing in South Asia, and the recent events in Kashmir are not doing anything to curb that. The main problem with terrorism is the financing, and one of the main issues that we're facing right now in South Asia is state sponsoring of terrorist activities.
Islamabad's anti-Kashmiri plot received a befitting reply this week when Ananya Agarwal, the Indian representative at the 40th UNESCO General Conference in Paris, hit out at Islamabad for spewing venom against India.
Mr. President, for us, the most important fundamental right is that of right to life. Globally, the single largest threat is this right is from terrorism. Tragically, the reality facing us is that Pakistan is the world's largest producer and exporter of this evil. Pakistan's political approaches are rooted in terrorist violence, and its global engagement is defined by mainstreaming of terrorism as an instrument of statecraft. Ask yourself the following questions. In which country were the perpetrators of 9/11 and 26/11 terror attacks discovered? Where were Osama bin Laden and Mullah Omar found? Which country is home to 130 UN-designated terrorists and 25 terrorist entities listed by the UN as of today? Which is the country where organizations such as Hizbul Mujahideen, Jamaat-ud-dawa, Lashkar-e-Taiba, and many other banned terrorist outfits openly conduct their activities, collect funds from the streets, and run their offices with active support of the state machinery? Which country is the leader in aiding, abetting, and financing of terrorist activities? The army of which country massacred millions of its own citizens just because they spoke a different language? The answer to these questions is Pakistan.
Indian representative in UNESCO further slammed Pakistan for seeing perpetrators of 9/11 and 26/11 as their heroes. She went on to confront the country for misusing the platforms of United Nations to peddle fake news, hatred, and venom against India.
Would this gathering believe if I told them that one of Pakistan's former presidents, General Musharraf, recently called terrorists such as Osama bin Laden and the Haqqani network as Pakistan's heroes? Pakistan is home to all shades of darkness, from dark extremist ideologies, darker powers of radicalization, radicalized behavior, to the darkest manifestations of terrorism. Mr. President, in 2018, Pakistan ranked 14th on the Fragile States Index. Pakistan's neurotic behavior has resulted in its decline to a nearly failed state, with a weak economy, radicalized society, and deep-rooted DNA of terrorism. We condemn Pakistan's disappointing misuse of UNESCO to spew venom against India and politicize UNESCO.
Pakistan has been using terrorism as its tool to target Kashmir. According to a latest assessment by Indian central agencies 3 months after the abrogation of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan-based terrorist groups have managed to infiltrate nearly 135 of their men into the valley. Indian security forces have till now identified over 25 entry routes along the Indo-Pak border in Jammu and Kashmir after the abrogation of Article 370. In 2018, Indian security forces neutralized more than 257 Pakistan-supported terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir. According to the Indian Home Ministry, there were 328 infiltration attempts by terrorists in 2018 to enter Jammu and Kashmir from across the border, of which more than half were thwarted.
The fact that Pakistan serves as safe haven for some of those terrorist groups is in itself a problem. It's not the only one, and the fact that some officials, including in the military, but some officials in Pakistan, they enable terrorist groups to engage in criminal activities, organized crime, drug smuggling, gem smuggling from Afghanistan. You have weapons trafficking as well, human trafficking, etc. That gives those groups what they need, the oxygen they need to operate. And that is the main threat that we're facing right now in terms of terrorism.
Recently, the Indian security forces in Kashmir busted a module of terrorist associates in Pulwama and arrested 4 people who were involved in carrying out terror activities in the valley. It is pertinent to mention here that the Indian Home Ministry officially confirms that the launch pads and terror camps of Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish Mohammad are active in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.